Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to the second leg of the NASCAR 2022 Tour in Walker Air Transport. So as I mentioned, because this is the 2022 NASCAR schedule, there's a little bit of difference. They don't have the 2024. You know, we'll see next year if we can propose that they do a 2025, which would be a lot of fun, I think. Certainly enjoying this so far. We took a cross-country trip with our NASCAR VIPs that are paying us to ferry them around for the entire year to all these events. And in 2022, the second event was back in California. So we are going to be leaving Daytona Beach here. You can see we're pushed back from the gate, and we are going to be heading out to runway 25 right, I believe, and taking off and heading to Ontario. Again, very close to the same flight distance. It's not quite Van Nuys, but as opposed to Atlanta, which is the second race of the 2024 season, we are not headed there. So we are going back out to California, which then means the third week, which was in Vegas and is going to be in Vegas in 2024, the third flight, the third leg of this journey, will be to the same location, just obviously will be a little bit shorter than coming from Atlanta to Vegas would be. So we're taking the long leg now. So let me go ahead, turn off the parking brake, and we will get ourselves moving. Alright, so I just need to get a little bit of power into the engines so that we can get going. I think they're finally spinning up here. A little bit more, I guess. See if that moves us. But I should need to go to the right. Alright, I have my brake off, right? Believe so. Oh, maybe not. Alright, so let me back this off because I don't want to go too fast here. But we're looking to head over here. Let me slow down because we are going way, way too fast. So just a tiny bit up, and that should hopefully give me enough here. And we are then going to go to the left. And head down the taxiway. And so when I landed here the other time, last leg, I was like, oh, there's no terminal, but there is. So I've learned when I spawned in here and found, you know, this set of gates over here. There's a terminal with about 6 gates. So, and the Ontario airport actually has a larger, a longer runway. So we're flying into a pretty big airport here, so that should all work out pretty nicely. You can see if you look over at our autopilot or our gauges in the center to handle that. Our cruising altitude is going to be 34,000 feet here. Heading out, that's what we've been cleared for. So, going to head over, get all the way to the end of the runway. But yeah, we had gone over there in that space, I think is where we had pulled over and stopped when we came back or came into town before the Daytona race. So what I am trying to do with this series is kind of try to keep up with it. I started a little bit late, so we're actually heading into the Atlanta weekend as I'm doing this flight, but I was able to very quickly get to this. And so my goal will be then that, you know, both of these appear hopefully before we go to Atlanta. Again, we're going to be in the wrong place with this flight, but we can only do what the tour lets us do. So let me make sure I am set. We've got auto brake set to max. We've got our spoilers armed. Looks like everything is turned on. TCAS is set for traffic. No warnings. So yeah, we probably want to, we got the seatbelts on, we've got landing lights, everything is looking perfect. So we are going to get on the way here. So we're going to get out to the runway, and then we will put the throttles into toga, take off, go around thrust, and we will be heading out of Daytona back across the country. So here we are, 25 right, as expected, so that's good. I found my way there. Just trying to get lined up here before we throttle up. We've got flaps out to 1. Alright, so we are set at this point. Try to get a little back on the center line. We've got our rotation at V125, so we are there. Pull back. And we should be clear. There we go. So once we get through 400, we'll engage the autopilot. That's usually safe to make sure we have solid climb. There we go. So at this point we're going to get ready to pull the flaps. We're going to put the gear up. So take a peek outside. And there's the track behind us, so we enjoyed a beautiful race back there. But now I need to take myself down to the climb detent here. That should have me where I need to be. Just make sure it looks good. It's always good to be visual. Throttle climb, so we don't need to be going as fast as we were. And at this point, then, we are on our way. So what I need to see, I would have expected to turn. So I'm not sure. No, maybe we're... Looks like we're 1 nautical mile away, and then we will turn. Whoops, we need to pull the flaps before we have a problem. Alright, we don't need the ground spoilers armed anymore. We're going to wait a little bit to turn off the seatbelt sign, and now that we're above 5,000 feet, we can probably turn off the landing lights. So... turn off the nose lights so we're not blinding anybody, and get those landing lights off and retracted, because those do, my understanding is, provide some drag, and we'd rather not do that. So again, track and airport over there, that's where we left, and you know, beautiful sunny day here in Daytona, heading out in Florida. With the A320, I do tend to use real weather. Not necessarily doing the real time of day, because otherwise a lot of times I'd just be flying at night then, and we'd just be in the dark. Now, for this series, because, you know, especially if we have long flights, I mean, if we have a shorter flight, maybe I'll do an episode where we fly and just chat on the way. But for now, not going to be doing that. I think we're going to make one more turn shortly. You can kind of see that down below. So about 10 nautical miles at Barb's. We're going to go ahead and we're going to turn toward Roy's. And we should then be in pretty good shape. But yeah, the intent is, you know, get you the takeoff, get you going a little bit, you know, maybe really short episodes, I'm not sure. Because there isn't a whole lot for me to talk about. I mean, I guess we can talk about, you know, the excitement of the race and so forth, you know, what was going on. We obviously had, you know, a pretty good set of things happening, pretty exciting race, you know, and at the end it was won by Austin Cindric in the number 2 car, with Bubba Wallace coming in just 0.03 seconds behind in his number 23 Toyota from you know, the Michael Jordan team, I believe, at that point. And Chase Briscoe rounds out the top 3 in his number 14 Ford. And that was what we got to enjoy along with our VIPs. So, you know, I guess part of the fun, you know, we go ahead and we'll take part in the festivities here at the Speedway for sure, because why not? You know, we're here, we're in town, we're waiting with our plane. So, you know, they're paying us enough here for these trips. Getting close to the standby altitude where, you know, the transition, that's the word I'm looking for. So we're going to have to get to standard pressure here. This is always a bit of a challenge. I don't understand why, but it always seems to be. We'll see if I can do it this way with the joystick instead. Always fun stuff. Alright, there we go. So we've got ourselves set there, and we are now climbing out. So, whoops, I apologize for that. So at this point, you know, now that we've got that information, that's, you know, what the race weekend had brought us. You know, we are here flying out, and then we'll be spending most of the week in sunny California as we wait for the Auto Club, or the race at Auto Club, to take place. And yeah, we are heading out for the Wise Power 400. So that's going to take place, or did take place, on Sunday, February 27th. We've got ourselves probably about 4 hours. It might be longer because I think we're going to be flying into a headwind here, as opposed to having a tailwind most of the way over. That did help us move along pretty quickly. But we're going to go ahead and settle in for the flight as we're climbing past 270 here, heading on our way up to flight level 340. So with that, I will see you in a bit. Alright, so we are heading in here, coming into Ontario. You can see the glide slope there, hopefully coming into play. We're a little bit under it. We've got our flaps fully extended at this point. So we haven't locked into the localizer yet. But there should be another turn coming up here. So I'm hopeful that this will work. I've been a little concerned because I thought that was where we were targeting, but at this point it would almost seem like we're going too quickly. So we'll have to see how everything plays out here as we get closer. But at this point, we're within 20 nautical miles. And definitely heading into the valley here. You know, I'm pretty sure we'll be landing in front of those mountains. You know, I think we're going to turn a little bit, so it'll probably be there somewhere. Alright, so I'm not sure if the 5,000 is you know, the range for that checkpoint there. It may be, and so then that may help us kind of line up on the glide slope, because at this point, you know, it's above us, and so this will stabilize us for a little bit, and then we'll come on down. So at this point, probably going to change that to 20. So there you go. You can see we're about 15 out. Now the localizer's there, but once again, that's just because of where we're at. But we'll be slowly turning in. I think we've got to go to one more checkpoint. But I'd say yes, the glide slope is drifting down here. But good amount of folks out there. Got the gear down for a little while. So we've already had that happening. But we're passing San Bernardino, which is off in that direction. Fontana, which is, I think, where the racetrack is at, is just north of us. So let's see if we can see anything that looks like the racetrack. Not really sure that I can, but I don't know that anything's as easy to see as Daytona is. Alright, glide slope's definitely getting close. But now we are coming down, and again, you'll see we're going to stabilize it. Looks like 4,300, although that's probably just in 1 mile. Because now it looks like we're descending faster than we should. So eventually we should, there we go, the localizer's finally locked in. And that will start to help, because at this point we should be turning. So there we go. And then again, hopefully we'll get the glide slope soon. So OM is the outer marker. So that is kind of the outside area of the airport. But now we are aligning, so it's kind of right in front of us there. There we go. So now the localizer's definitely locked in. And it's just a question, you know, once that green dot comes in, we should slow down to that, and then that should get us into a little bit better into the glide slope, because we're obviously catching that, and then I would expect my descent rate to slow.
2,500.
So there you go. It's kind of flattening out. You can see it's coming up 1,800, so forth. So, you know, and once we lock into the glide slope, then we're kind of going to be just directly on the path to head on in. But the airport, I think, is right there, a little less than probably 8 nautical miles out at this point. It is interesting that we're just not locking into that glide slope here. I mean, I'm not worried per se, but it is intriguing that we just can't seem to catch it. We're always ahead of it a little bit. I mean, I do have everything, you know, we're set to 3022. We need to get the seat belts on. I think I don't have that. I should have done that a while ago. And now again, we've caught this. We're going to flatten out for a bit. And usually around 3,000 is kind of where, you know, you'd expect that a little bit. Now, in theory, we should flatten out. I don't understand what is happening, because we are certainly not really doing that well at this point. So now these are kind of coming down together, although the 1 point is arriving a little faster. But now we're down to basically 5 nautical miles out. I really want to lock into that glide slope because it is concerning me at this point as to why we're not. We're going to get the duals on. That may help. I don't know if that broadens the range for capturing things or not. See, now I don't know again, like why are we going down at all? I mean, we didn't go down much, so but coming in, not super fast, so this is definitely a nice landing. But yeah, the way the ILS is kind of bringing us in, it just is staying below that glide slope. Because now we're losing distance again.
1,000.
And alright, now it's gonna flatten out for a bit, it looks like. Well, maybe. Yeah, we're at about 850. But once again, the glide slope has left us by quite a ways. And for whatever reason, we just cannot catch this. I do not understand, but so I'm probably going to have to manually land this to some degree.
$400.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to be careful because it is
100 above.
all right.
100 above.
So we're gonna turn that off, and I'm going to bring it in the rest of the way, I think, because I think otherwise we're having a challenge, that's for sure, because there we go. The pappies are finally starting to light up, so there we go. Now I want to be careful here. So now it finally hits the glide slope.
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
Ooh, that was a little harder than I would have liked. Whoop. We don't want to go too fast here. Alright, so we're on the ground. Not quite the landing I would have liked, but alright, we're going to pull off at the next one here. So we're going to go off that way. That should be doable. Alright, and we can see we've got the airport and the terminal over there. Going a little quick. But we want to stay on the runway, the tarmac, but really then we want to head over in the direction to the left. We'll get ourselves there, but yeah, our landing rate was 316, so that's gonna increase our average. That was a little rough. So I'm just gonna head into this gate over here. It's as good a gate as any. Man, we are moving. Alright, that should get us there. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to call anything, because, yeah, the engines are running. So we will get those turned down. Alright, and in theory that should get us where we need to be there. Interesting. See, I don't think we have a jetway here. Looks like, I don't know, it's under construction or something. This whole airport is a little strange, to be honest. So they're opening a door, but they didn't bring any stairs. So I think in theory it like thinks there's a jetway, but in any event, we are here. Yep, so. Yeah, but hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about the format. Is it too short? Should I show more? Do you know, what do you want to see on these? I mean, these long flights, it's a challenge. I'll have to see how long the one to Vegas is. You know, maybe that's one that we can, you know, make an episode. But the problem is, even with taxi, takeoff, everything else, you saw how long it took to land, even though we were only 20 miles out. But when you're traveling, you know, it still turns into 10-15 minutes once you're slowing down and coming in for approach. So, you know, it can easily turn into a 30-45 minute episode. But if you've enjoyed this and not dropped a like, please consider doing that. If you're not a subscriber, please consider that. And next week, I think we'll be heading out to Vegas, but at least now we are caught up on kind of the regular schedule. And yeah, Vegas is where we would be in the 2024 schedule if we had that. But we're flying the 2022 tour in Walker Air Transport. But we've got our second leg done, and probably, hopefully not too many long legs coming up. We'll have a little bit of a breather, but glad I could get these in the books for you. And I will see you next time.